Hey guys, I'm back. So we already have our objective and our I can statement. It's the same one from the class before. To analyze a character in conflict is the objective, and your I can statement is to still recognize the conflict in a character faces in a story. So as I mentioned before, we're going to be reading the story Heartbeat. It's a short story that was written by David Yu. Remember, our essential question for this unit is what can blur the lines between what's real and what's not? Let's begin with our quick start activity. So a quick reminder, always write quick start as your subheading and the page number of your textbook in your notebook so you don't have to write the entire quick start activity, just your answer. So our quick start activity for today says, do you have friends who sometimes seem unsure of themselves? How do you think they could become more positive and brave? Make a list of ways in which you think an individual can build confidence. Remember, this is your personal opinion, so it can also be done from personal experience. Maybe you've had that moment where you're not too confident in yourself, you're not sure what you're supposed to do, and you thought about different ways of how to do that. Or maybe someone came and gave you that advice and said, this is what you can do to feel a little more confident. And I know one of those things for confidence is like, to feel comfortable. So that would probably be one of the things you guys could put on your list, to feel comfortable with the person you're with or in the place that you are in. Once you guys are done with that, we're going to move on to analyzing the character. Characters are the people who take part in a story. By analyzing a character's traits and motivations, you can understand the characters and the story better. So when you focus on the character traits, we're focusing on the qualities that the characters show us or express from their personality. For example, the writer may state the character's traits, or you may need to infer those traits based on characters' words, thoughts, actions, appearance, and relationship. The character's motivations are the reasons why the characters do something the way they do it. An example of that would be to understand their motivations, you would have to think about how the setting and the other characters influence a character's actions. As you read Heartbeat, think about what the thoughts, words, and actions of Dave, the main character, reveal about him. Use this diagram to help you analyze his traits and motivations. So I'm going to be sending you guys this. See, we have the graphic organizer right here. Oops, internet problem. But still, I'll be sending the graphic organizer to you guys, or you can make one in as a Word document as well. So we're going to look at how we can analyze a character through a quick video of character analysis brought to you by Powtown. One of my favorites, guys. You can also use it whenever you guys need to. It's actually completely free. So analyzing characters or character analysis is very easy once you break it down into certain parts, because there are ways you can break down the character analyzation and really understand the character themselves. So we have to focus on how an author develops a character in a literary text, and we also have to know how the characters interact with each other over the course of the text. So I have great news for you. Do you want to know what the great news is? Okay, I'll tell you. You can do this with books, and you can also do it with films. So here's an example of that. There's no audio, by the way. So he's talking about going to get a burger, and then, he runs into John. And John is extremely happy in this moment. So there's another person on the phone. He says, best new sales rep in our company. Pleased to meet you, John says. I have to get going. Now, think about this for a second. John seemed happy. It appeared that he was, but he might not have been. What does your father say or John say? He's the best new sales rep in our company. What does your father do? He has a happy reaction to that. What does John say? Pleased to meet you. I have to go to my son's basketball game. It's about to start. And what does John do? He shakes the hand and acts a little embarrassed. So if we analyze him for a moment, John is a likable and hardworking, but shy. He seems to be a good dad and a snazzy or a very nice dresser. What the character says, which is dialogue, and what the character does is their actions, and what other characters say about them is also dialogue, and what other characters react to them are actions. So we focus a lot on dialogue and actions. Those are the two main things you're going to focus on when you are doing a character analysis. Here is a small reading or short from a story. Dolores came back from the bathroom and noticed that her rainbow pencil was missing. It was her favorite pencil with sparkling streams sprouting from the eraser. She looked around the room and saw that Beth was using a rainbow pencil that looked just like the one she was missing. "You stole it!" Dolores shouted, pointing at Beth with an accusing finger as she started to cry uncontrollably and ran out of the room. Beth stared back at her blankly confused. The teacher tried to keep the class on task, saying, "Let's just stay focused on our work, class. I think Dolores is just having a really bad day." So based on what we just read right now, what can we think or what can we analyze about Dolores? Think about that for a second. Reread it if you'd like by pausing, and then we'll come to this chart. What does Dolores do? Think about it. She cries, she shouts, and she points her finger. What does Dolores say? "You stole it." Those were her exact words. What do other characters do? In this case, Beth. Beth ran out of the room. She just stares at Dolores confused, I meant to say, and then the teacher tries to keep the class calm. What do other characters say? Does anyone remember what Beth or the teacher said? The teacher said, "I think Dolores is having a bad day." So in this character analysis, Dolores is a young and immature girl, but it doesn't seem like this is a kind of behavior that's common to her, because the teacher was very, calm about the whole thing. So she definitely knew that something was different with Dolores this day. So that's how we broke down that information and we analyzed that character. Remember, you have to analyze how an author develops a character in a literary text, and you have to know how the characters interact with each other on the course of a text. So I hope this video was helpful to you guys. And the last thing we're going to be looking at is the analyzing conflict part. Remember, we talked about this before. There were two different types of conflict. You have external conflict and you have internal conflict. Reminder, a conflict is a struggle between opposing forces. That means between either two people, a person and an animal, a person and a natural disaster. An external conflict is a struggle against an outside force like a nature, physical obstacle, or another character. And an internal conflict is a struggle that occurs in a character's mind, often due to a clash with its feelings and their thoughts. Authors may also use the setting and time and place of an action to shape the conflict and its resolution, which is how the conflict is resolved. So look closely at the struggle that Dave faces. Infer whether it reveals primarily an external or an internal conflict. Think too about why the conflict is important and how is it resolved. And finally, our critical vocabulary. You guys know what to do. Go over the vocabulary, place them in the sentences, and at the end, check to see if you are correct. Our vocabulary for this story is repulse, metabolism, moot, futile, and delirious. So I hope you guys enjoy reading Heartbeat. It seems like a really fun story, really interesting. All right, guys, I'm off. Have a nice day. Bye.